Cool. Well, hi everybody. So on today's stream, just going to be looking at getting Cobra commands added to this little Go app. So basically all I've done so far is just get a very simple Fiber API up and running. I'm going to change things around to use Cobra commands. And so let's just take a look at what that looks like. Okay, pop open a terminal. So yeah, let's go grab the that package. Seems pretty cool. Here's the install. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a command folder here. And I think this is idiomatic Cobra stuff. Add a root file. And then here's where we're going to add like the base command. And then while we're here, let's go ahead and add API directory where we can move our we create an API.go here, and so this is just going to house like this fiber piece. So we can get rid of that, and we can go package API, and then how do we want to structure this? Do we want to do something like new API, like have a function new API that returns this API? Let's see. This will probably just evolve over time. Organize imports. And I think it's fiber slash v2. Yeah, fiber v2. Okay, so what we've basically done is we've just separated out the API. So the API will be in its own directory. I don't know how to make this. I'm pretty new to Zed, so I don't know how to make this guy bigger. Yeah, I can just make the code bigger. And so the idea is like, we want to take this Cobra stuff and we want to basically run kind of like a CLI. We want to be able to say like, run our API. And what we'll end up doing is these handlers will call into services, and then those services will be abstracted in a way like the API, the app handlers will only handle like the HTML stuff and then calling the services. And so we could potentially then in our commands use like those services, compose them together to do like CLI type things. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, so let's go back to those Cobra docs really fast. All right, so we've done the import, or we've done the install, I mean. Let's create this guy. Package command. All right, and then we're gonna add that root command in here. I guess there's a Cobra user guide. Yeah, so this is what we're gonna replace our main.go with. And then the command that's going to be like run API will end up calling, it'll like call this app.listen. Oh yeah, interesting. So I think the paradigm is to use like CMD anyway. Yeah. And then this is Fiber API, CMD, package CMD. Cool. And then this is the root command. And so like anything inside here, there's like some magic that happens behind the scenes to make this work. Let's just call this like run API. Okay, do stuff here. Let's organize these imports. And then I think, is this no required package? Is this also a different version? No, it doesn't look like a different version. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of cool init stuff we can do with all the flags, but I'm not worried about that right now. Yeah, create your main.go. Okay, so it seems like we can create because this is the root command. I think what we want to do, I think we want to create like some run API.go, and then so the root command can delegate to that. I think that's what I'm reading here. So instead of version, this will be the run API command. Okay, so run API. We'll fill these in later. Okay, cool. So here, I'm pretty sure what we want to do is call our new API function. Package command, and so I think it's going to be, yep, API, new API, undefined API, organize the imports again. And then I think we want to do API listen, right? Or I forget how. We'll go look at that later, or soon. Okay, so the root command, we don't want anything in there. Initializing Cobra and main, that's what we're doing. I guess I'm just a little bit thrown off as to why they have Hugo as a root command. See, here they have it like Cobra CLI, which that kind of makes more sense. So you'd say like Cobra CLI Hugo, or like run app or something like that. And then we're not going to use Viper yet. Maybe we use it, maybe we don't. I don't know. I'm not really super worried about having like all the config stuff yet. At least not yet. All right, and then let's load up the Go Fiber docs as well. Yeah. All right, so I feel like we can just do this. New API, API.go. Oh, this returns a what is this? This is a fiber.app. Okay, so we forgot to return it. Okay, cool. So new API actually returns that thing. Let's organize these imports. Okay. So yeah, so we basically have, we're going to branch off the root command, and we're going to add this like run API command. I just need to figure out what exactly we're putting in here. And it doesn't like this. I mean, that's what we have. Let me go over here. Okay. All right. So this at least picks up that command directory and calls that. I wonder what happens if we. I know it's not gonna. Oh, go run. Let's see what errors we get. I think we need to pass in the. Root. Use Fiber API. Something's not happy. Okay, go mod tidy. Go build. Okay, it did a build. So we see there is a .fiber API. That doesn't do anything. Okay, there we go. That kind of makes sense. I guess I'm just a little bit confused about this. Cool. So basically what we've done is we're running our program with the run API command, and that command spins up this Fiber app. It's interesting that this is not happy. Okay, so the main is like super clean now because we just have this command.execute, and then the root will delegate to whatever we pass in. And so right now we just have this run API. But you can imagine, so what we can do now is we can do like a services. Let's see, let's just make it like a services.go. Package services. I don't even know, like, let's just say like get user, and then oh yeah, let's create a quick models, and then new file, package models. Okay, type user struct. And what all do we want in here? Yeah, I mean, we'll probably end up using some sort of GORM model or something like that, but let's just say like, what do we say? Yeah, some sort of like int, and then might as well do a JSON. I mean, I guess we don't even. Do we care about this right now? Let's just do email. Okay. So yeah, super basic. We can add the JSON tags in there. And so we have our models, we have some sort of service. Technically, we could have like a repository that does like the fetching of the models from the database. Return user. And then we're going to want to import our models. Oh. what is it complaining about? Unknown field ID. ID is an int. Oh, right. Let's make the D capital as well. Why not, right? Okay. So now it's actually like available for us to use. Okay. So this is a horrible service, but yeah, we get the idea. And so like maybe instead of like get user, a better example would be like get report. And that report, you can imagine, like runs a bunch of aggregations and builds up some sort of like object / model. And then what we can do is we can create like a run report. Yeah, maybe that might be a better example. So let's just do something like number of users is an int. Doing lots of TypeScript lately. Okay. So we return a report model. All right, number of users, 100 or something like that. Okay, and so now what we can do is we can create like this like run report .go. And let's just change the name. All right, and the actual function here is going to be like services dot get report. And so we can get a report and then we can just, I don't know, print it to the command line, export it to CSV, JSON, something like that. Okay, and so now if we cancel this, so very soon I'll go do the database thing as well. And so this service report, like we could basically build up a database connection inside of this run report via this like initializers pattern. Yeah, so we'd basically say like, you know, new DB connection, and then a new service, or I guess we could do like new repositories, but we don't have any of those right now. So new service with that DB passed into it, and then we can call like, you know, service.getReport. And so very similar to inside of our API, where we could like initialize a database connection here as well. Or not in here, we would pass the services in here. And so this would eventually be like, right? And so then these handlers would call the services or compose those together. And so, and now when we pass that in our main, over here, it'd be very similar. This run API, we would create a database connection. And so it would be like, right? And then we would pass that services into this API. And so we just compose all of these things, layer up what everything needs, but then ultimately the services can be broken off. And then we can literally just like run this without spinning up the app. So instead of like spinning up the whole app, calling an endpoint, printing it out or doing something, we have now composed it in such a way that it could be completely broken down. All right. So maybe let's do that. So right here we will say we probably need some sort of interface. Type services interface, get report, and that returns a models.report. Okay, so now we have this, and then we'll create a struct. And this will eventually take that database connection. And then what we could do is we can tie these together, right? So this is now tied to the services struct. Let's not worry about this for now. Yeah, and so instead of using like, this will return this model, but basically like we could leverage the database connection and or some sort of like repository here, right? Okay, let me try to think, how do we want to do this? Oh yeah, and then of course, like this new service idea that would take the database connection, but we're not worried about that right now. And then this would return a services interface. Right, services like this. Okay, and so here's where we'd pass the database connection in, and we'd like set this database connection in this service, right? But for right now, it just returns an interface to this. So here we could do services dot new service. Service declared not used. Okay, so you can see how we're breaking things apart, building up a pattern. So we create this new service. We say get report, and then we can print this out. And then over here in the API, we could do services of type service of type services. Okay. And then this guy, instead of just returning random, and then this get report. Let's see. I think there's like a fiber. Okay, so there's a fiber way to do this. Let's see, report, and then JSON. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So now the cool thing is our app, our API. I guess this is new API, so API. Yeah, so our API is basically just like, we pass the services in, the interface, and then it just calls that get report and then returns the JSON. And so that's happy from an API perspective. Let's just set this guy up. Services dot new service. Okay. Probably should have started at the database level first, maybe with some models and things like that, but Yeah. So this guy is tied to this, but it returns report, which flushes this out. Run report. Oh, sorry, chat. I have totally been in the zone. Just give me a second. Okay, yeah. So this is the main. This is all that's in main. This command.execute is like Cobra magic that goes to the root command. I don't think there's anything special about the namings. I think it's just the higher level one. And since there's nothing here, or not that there's nothing here, but since we passed that second argument, it then goes towards these guys. And then here's the services file. That's everything I have in the services right now. Hopefully that's helpful. Okay, cool. So I have no idea if this is gonna work. Let's see. We've got some errors on the run report. Oh yeah. I don't like I don't know why Zed. It'd be nice to just like have the autosave and just refactor those. Okay. So if we run the API still works, but let's do the did I set that run report command? Run report, yeah. Okay, cool. So that works nicely. The fiber run report just leverages that services and spits out. It just spits it out. And so the super cool thing is now that we have the power of Cobra, we can take commands like super easily from Cobra land, from the CLI, and like we could say like run report, and then we could do like -o file name, you know, -f like format like CSV, and we can just like since we're not doing any API nonsense, we could just once we have the report, we can spit it out, you know, however it just like abstracts it super nicely. Yeah, and then let me actually run the API. And then can I command click this? Cool. And so let's go to /report. And there it is, the API returning that as well. So yeah, pretty cool. We're actually leveraging this pattern network. I'm still kind of a Go newbie. But yeah, leveraging this pattern network, and it seems to be working out nicely. The super cool thing is once you get to a certain point down the stack, maybe not at the services level, following this interface pattern just allows for easy mocking. And so you can create any struct and, you know, return whatever you wanted for this. And then just like, so actually what we could do, like, for example, is create this like mock doco. And ultimately the services folder will be like broken down to like a user service maybe, or, you know, depending on like, I generally don't try to like split things out until it gets big enough to split things out. But right here, how we have like a new service, you know, we could then go into this mock file, package services, and then do like some like new mock service, right? And then depending on what we're testing, yeah, we could just go in here and then have like this, type mock struct, struct, yeah. And then we could just bind these functions to it, for example. So this would actually be probably a good let's just do M. Yeah, so mockery, yeah, totally get it. Totally get it. Yeah, and that is something that we're looking into moving towards for work stuff as well. Yeah, I just haven't needed to do that kind of thing for like these little like small one-off report things here and there. We have like a pretty extensive like end-to-end suite, you know, and so that hopefully hits a bunch of stuff. But yeah, Mockery is definitely. Did they deprecate Mockery, or is it called something else? Do you know? Is this Mockery the latest one? Okay, so this is what you linked. Oh yeah, so this is the new one, right? Because I know there was like an Uber one, and then that Uber one. Yeah, I think it might have changed owners. I think you're right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, look at this. Yeah. So V3 already. Wow. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. Once it's big enough or complicated enough, having a tool for auto generating makes a lot of sense. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna add Mockery on my list of things to do for this project. So my whole plan with this project right now is like just to like figure out good structure for this stuff for Go APIs in general, and then I want to build out a much more fleshed out API. Deprecated. Been really getting your unit testing. Yeah, same here. Yeah. I don't know what big enterprise. Yeah, so I'm actually part of the team that was like a 10-person startup that was recently acquired, or was acquired last year by a much bigger company, like in the thousands. And so it's just a different. Luckily, their CTO, or the new CTO that we have, is very cool about like, no, you guys keep doing your own thing in your own little world and being really nimble. And so that's been helpful. But I've looked at like the enterprise code, and it's just like, yeah, thousands and thousands of unit tests, which is cool. I think, for example, if you had some like piece of logic, that was, you just wanted like a pure function that you could break off, and like, you know, that you passed raw data in from several sources and it spits out like some aggregation or some like computation, you break that out, the pure function, unit test that. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think just like the general flow of stuff a lot of that can be handled by end to end. When you say behavioral testing, what do you mean behavioral testing? What does that mean? Like user interface, their behaviors, or yeah, I'm curious what you mean about that. Okay, let me think about the database thing. Oh, really? Yeah, just to cover all the different branches. Do you use pretty extensive like code coverage tools, or like Sonar Cloud or things like that like make sure you've tested all the use cases? It's interesting because define the behavior of whatever you want to test and do that. Oh, I see. Does that allow you to do fuzzing? Like, for example, like you define the behavior and then you say, but like hit it with whatever integers and strings you can think up and just throw it at it? Does it let you do that kind of stuff? Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Race conditions. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, that's intense. Yeah, fuzzing's cool. A few startups back, Trendkite, we wrote these microservices in Vertex, and one of the super senior guys there was just like, we're gonna fuzz this stuff and just like load test the hell out of this before deploying it. And it actually caught some stuff. I mean, just, you know, those super long strings randomly will, you know, they'll get you. So yeah, that's super cool. Well, it sounds like you're getting to do more complicated, awesome, cool code. So that's really fun. Are you doing anything in Go? I'd be curious to know if you're doing anything in Go. All right, let me add this new file. Database. We can also add Oh, all of it. Oh my gosh, that's a lot to go. That is a lot to go. To say all of it. Like for an enterprise, they must have been using Go, I guess, from the beginning, to avoid that like massive rewrite. See if we can get a Go hooked up or a Gorm hooked up over here. And then oh, you haven't used an ORM. Okay. Wait, are you guys just using, if your whole thing's using Go, I'm not sure what database you're using, but are you just using like the raw, like SQL, the Go SQL package? I'd be super keen to know how you guys are doing that. That's cool. Let's not do a volume. 14 Alpine. There was something about this auth stuff. Well, let's not worry about that right now. Test. So there is a way. Okay. Let's see if we can just do this. DB. I have no idea if this is going to work. I just copied the first thing I found on the internet, so who knows. Is that how it is? Could I do that? Maybe I'd want to do raw SQL PGX v4. Let's go. Let me check that out really quick. Let me check that out. That seems cool. Yeah, I haven't. So my previous job, I did a lot of SQL. Like, so my current job is like API first. Like very much, you know, define, like literally define everything in, what is the tool called? Like a Swagger doc, basically. Define everything there. And then once the front end and back end and all the team agree on like the API, since it's like very API, it's a developer focused product. So a lot of developers are our users. So API first. But my previous gig was like, our head of engineering was like very, very keen on, you know, the database model, like database. And so much raw SQL. Okay, so let's see. PGX Connect query. Oh yeah, okay, so you're just straight putting in SQL stuff in there. Wow. And then scans. That's, I mean, it is nice. And you said v4, right? It is nice that you're not tied to some of the quirks. Yeah, it is nice that you're not tied to some of the quirks, but like, one of the things that's kind of interesting with Gorm is we just do like Gorm auto migrate our models, and our developers just YOLO change stuff in those models and like have no idea how it migrates it. And that's gonna, I feel like it has to come back and bite us. It has to come back and bite us. One day it will come back and bite us. Oh yeah, slow. Oh yeah, we might deploy like 3 times a day. It's a different level. Let me just think about what I'm doing here. Test, I think we did test. And then I'm just gonna get rid of this because I wanna think about Viper. I want to think about Viper a little bit more with that. Oh wait, sorry. I guess I did that backwards. I want this to be in the .env file. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and then this. Undo. Okay. Yeah, unload. Yeah, unload from the Gorm. So the team's been pretty good about using like not being afraid to like build a service for something and using like a different database. So what we'll do is like we'll have this service and then using these Cobra commands and like run it on a cron job in Kubernetes. It's super cool. It'll like grab data, do some and like put it in another database. And then like the reporting engine will query that. And so, yeah, we haven't run into the crazy Gorm issue yet, but it's coming. It's coming. Raw SQL for complex queries. Let's see. It might get to, get down to, complex queries. Yeah. I think we have 0 raw queries even in Gorm. So the reason this is taking so long is because Docker is like running in resource saver mode, which why it doesn't need to. It's just like ever since I upgraded this latest Docker, it's like it hasn't quite been there. I mean, I don't know why. It's just like it's just sitting there like what is it doing? Anyway, resource saver mode. So okay, database, go. Is the music too loud in the back? Just let me know if the music in the back is too loud. There, finally resource saver mode. It's cool. All right, back to Gorm. Go get Gorm. I'm also like still not 100% sure on Zed. I guess this is a new terminal. Okay, cool. Go get the Gorms. And then we want to grab a driver for Postgres. Let's see. Is there no like super quick start for Postgres? Yeah, connected to database. I don't know why, but I couldn't find that just super easily. Do I need to go get that as well? Yeah, okay. Yeah, what am I doing? All right, downloading all the Gorm things. Cool. There we have our product. It is nice. Okay, so one of the things I do like about the Gorm is like if you just like put this gorm.model inside of your struct, you get a bunch of things for free. Like a created at, deleted at, like an optional deleted at, updated at, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Let me go back to that. Postgres. Yeah, customize. I don't know why. This looks very different. Why does this look so different? Existing database connection. Yeah, I would have expected something not like this. Cloud SQL proxy. I just want like a normal. I just want like a normal Postgres connection. Thanks Gorm. Yeah, I mean, I think we set these all to test, so like why did they do all the non-default things? That's so interesting. Okay, let's get back to package database, import, new database, and then that will return this, which is an invalid type. I think should probably handle our errors. Let's just straight panic it. Why does it not like that? Yeah, I know what you mean with the yeah, only append only. You can do the removing. So like you create product, you add fields into the product over time. Generally, you don't remove stuff from it. Yeah, you can do removal, but we just haven't hit anything yet that like it hasn't been able to do. One thing we have done a lot of is, like, for example, we add a new field to the database and we have to go run scripts to just like pre-fill, to just pre-fill all that stuff, like all the data for existing. And some of the senior developers will just write like Dino. Like we have a way to like just like throw Dino scripts into our environment and like run them, and have Dino query certain things and like connect to the database and put stuff in, just because like trying to do those migrations with like a one-off go, like you launch an app, the app launches this one-off script, is just like, yeah, it's probably not the best solution to do that either, but you know, such is life. Okay, so what does this say? Gorm dot database, and then this is still not happy. I don't know, go mod tidy. Yeah. No required. All right, back to core.io. I just want like a simple getting started. Yes, main DB. Okay, well, I don't know why this was so hard to find. Yeah, Postgres, and then. Yeah, okay. Let's create a product. Why not? Products are fun. Let's do it. We can do a report on products. So yeah, if error equals null, here we go. Let's actually do this. Let's do this somewhere else. Maybe in one of our run API. Database.new DB. And then I think we need to do models.product, yeah. Insert product. And so this will probably like break out to like a init function maybe if we feel like it at some point. Yeah, db create. Cool. What could go wrong? Let's actually just grab all of this and see. if we can get that to work. Organize the imports for me, please. Models and models dot. Yeah, so let's just do, this is not where we should probably put this, but let's just put here, db is star gorm dot db, I think that's right. Yeah. Organize the imports, always organizing the imports. Okay, and then finally, new service, this takes gorm.db, organize imports. Okay. DB is the gorm.db again. We set it. DB is DB. Okay, cool. And so get report. Okay, cool. S pointer services. Models dot product. Okay. What else? Oh yeah, yeah. PGX5 under the hood. It makes sense. It makes sense. Okay, get products. Let's just do the first one. And then we can go back to here, run API. Yeah. I've lost track. That's the thing. Coding all day for work, and then coding at night. It's a little bit more fun. Oh yeah. This, okay, so this is yeah, so this DB. Okay, so sorry, we need to do s.db. So now we have access to this, which is inside of our services struct. Does db dot first? Oh, I think you have to do like dot error or something if you want to get the error. No. Well, let's just do the dumb stuff first, and then we'll keep going from there. Okay, so read product. I think we could return a pointer. Yeah. Okay. We can make that not a pointer here soon, but applaud the effort. Thanks. Thanks. Yeah. It's just like we recently had a baby. He's like almost 6 months old, but God, the first 4 months just dead. Yeah. So it's fun to like have some time, and he goes to bed pretty early now, so it's fun to have some time in the evenings to be like, okay, get back on there and like mess around with stuff. You know what's interesting is this like setup DB. So what's interesting is this is really just kind of like a seed database. It's really just like a seed database, and so we could just split that out into like its own seed command. Anyway, so many commands, so many things to split out. I don't even know if this is gonna work right now. So yeah, init DB. I mean, I guess like technically, yeah. The problem is every time we run this app, it's gonna try to insert this product every single time. Every single time. Yeah. Run API. CDB. So there's a private function, cdb command. Okay, cool. Yeah. So one of the reasons that we're using this whole Cobra stuff, like I mentioned before, was you can leverage these commands in Kubernetes land, or so Kubernetes has this like cron scheduling thing. So you basically just can set like the cron, and then like kind of like in cron tab, where you just set like, you know, star 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 star, and then like the script you want to run. And so you basically set that same thing in the Kubernetes config, like star 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 / fiber API run report, and then you hit the deploy button, and Kubernetes will do that. And so before, I always used Cloud Scheduler in GCP, or cron tab in like a DigitalOcean or something. But yeah, just like one of our senior engineers did that, and I was like, oh yeah, okay. I see it. I see what you're doing. All right, CDB. And then there was something here about like, deferring the close. Wasn't there deferring the close? Database resolver. Connecting to database. Existing customize. SQLite. Maybe SQLite would have been a good option. ClickHouse. I've never even heard of that. Unsupported databases. I thought there was something about like deferring close, but okay, we'll just leak the memory for now if we want to. So okay, so CDB. Yeah, and now the cool thing is we can do the database test without starting up the app, which I think is somewhat exciting. Oh, I totally thought that was build. All right, go build. I was like, that's a long time to build. It's running. That's a long time to build. Oh. Services, new service. And then we're not calling it in run API. Yeah, so actually, if you notice the super tiny X on the bottom left here in Z, it's like, oh yeah, we have a bunch of project diagnostics that we could tell you about. So still a young IDE. They're doing all the right things. Yeah, they're doing all the right things. Just it takes a little bit longer. Okay, so this, wait, why? We want that quorum. Like, what is this? All right. And then we can pass this guy in here. And then we take this out. That, we definitely don't want that. Okay. All right, run report. Oh yeah. Database.new DB. Okay. Let's just see the database. Oh yeah, so for a while I was like super into Rust, or tried to be super into Rust. And like the one thing I wanted to like build in Rust was native GUI programs. The one thing, and that's the one thing that the community just hasn't made progress on for like many different reasons. But there is this, let me pull them up right now. There is this, oh okay, cool. So there's this company called warp.dev, which is like doing that terminal. Warp.dev. And so these guys are pretty smart. They built this like terminal, and it's in Rust. And now part of their team is also working with the founder of this company, Z.dev. They're collaborating on, is it GPUI? Is that what they're calling it? They're collaborating on this library called like GPUI or something. Let me just now I've got to find it. Yeah, so I was like following the Warp guys for a whole bunch. Warp.dev. You know, they had a blog and they had some blog post on it. Yeah, so behind the scenes, and so the super cool thing is this Zed, the guy that's starting it is like, it's using this Rust UI that the teams are collaborating on, Warp and Zeb are collaborating on, and so the render time is like super fast. So they're doing it kind of like this whole video game GPU render, and I mean it is quick. Like if I switch tabs and like open stuff, I mean it is fast. They're definitely trying to get to the whole like 60 frames a second, you know, on 4K monitor, like seamless for terminals. And yeah, I mean every single week they're like releasing new stuff. So this, of course they're doing kind of like this whole collaborative environment. Yeah, so like everyone connects, and so like you can have multiple people. So that's how they're doing it. Like the IDE is for free. You want collaboration stuff, you know, maybe pay for that. And then they also have Copilot reinstall, I guess. I was wondering why my Copilot wasn't working. Okay, so select from products, read ID 0. Oh, okay, what happened here? Multiple default values specified for column ID of table products. Multiple default values. This is something that I got on their website. Why? ID big serial default auto random. That seems suspicious. That's suspicious. Let me bring up the database. So I love doing this. It's like a newbie thing to do, but I love doing it. Sorry. How do I get into this thing? Postgres. There we go. /d/l. Okay. Am I not connected to test? Is that what is going on? There we go. Now I'm connected. Okay. Yeah, I think it just didn't. It was not able to create the table. That's so weird. Okay. Yeah, the exciting things of Go and Gorm. Okay, Postgres, open. Let's go back over here. So we do the auto migrate, and that's what's calling. That's what's calling this. Can we just make it? Can we just make it like a UUID? Can we make it a UUID? Like, why? Create. Like, that's what I want. I want the UUID. declaring models, conventions. Yeah. Oh yeah, we probably should have added the gorm.model, right? Because actually the gorm.model adds all of these things. So I think let's just do that. And so this is one of the interesting things is like you could literally just go do this in Gorm and then run it again, and like who knows how it does that? Who knows how it does the auto migrate? Yeah, there it is. We've got them. I don't know. Like, I wish I had some SQL file to be like, see, do this in the database, then we did this in the database. I mean, it's kind of like good luck everybody else. I mean, it's like, wow. Anyway, it's cool. It's cool. It hasn't broken on us yet. So anyway, yeah, and this is nice. And the Gorm deleted add is like optional, which is great. There's just like so much. We have these tags. One of the tags in the work database, it's like a whole bunch of like stuff, like SQL stuff. You know, if this, do this, like all in these Gorm tags, and I'm just like, holy crap! It's just exciting. Yeah. Okay. So we now have this like product, and we have a seed command, and why are you mad? Product has no field or method ID. Interesting, but the seed totally worked. It totally worked. Yeah, it totally worked. Yeah, I wish the ZIDE could open it up, but yeah. So we've broken out the seed. Now it's cool because when we run our API, heaven forbid we ever do this at the same time, and then our API doesn't start if the seed fails for some weird reason. Like, they shouldn't be dependent. Let's see. The only other thing I can think about was to do a repository thing. Yeah, that's the only thing I can think about is like our services and like directly calling database and models and stuff like that. It's a little bit there is a benefit to having one more layer, and that's kind of like the only thing that really touches the database, you know, are the repositories, and then the services you know, can compose the repos, and then of course can be composed to do the business logic things. Yeah, at work we actually have one level higher than a service, the interactor, which is kind of like a service, but that's basically like, you know, where you string a whole bunch of services together. So yeah, for better or for worse. I totally never ended up using this database URL because it's just hard coded, and I think the cool kids use Viper. I don't know if you guys use anything else besides Viper or something like that, but the cool kids use Viper. Is what I've at least heard of. I don't know this. Oh, that's the build. That's the build. Yeah. So I think like this was a good first stream on like hopefully it was interesting. Doesn't Cobra Command use Viper? So I think in their docs they like for you to use Viper. I think like SPF 13 who built Cobra built Viper. Yeah. So I think they interop really nicely. Yeah. Optional seamless interaction with Viper for 12 factor apps, 1-2 factor apps. Yeah, that makes sense. Man, this guy has worked everywhere. Yeah, Viper would be cool. I mean, I think it makes sense to do some sort of like configuration. I could think about, because that's another thing that's like, how do you throw your config in Kubernetes? How do you do it with the secret manager? How do you do it? Like, don't check anything into the GitHub, you know? And it makes sense. It makes sense. Like we should not, yeah, we should not have this. So I'll look at that. Copy paste from the README. Awesome. Yeah, but hopefully the command stuff was enlightening a little bit, at least to where like you can say my API is now a thing. I can run that as a command. I can now break out reports into these commands. I can run those separately. Hopefully at least that little piece. I thought that was one of the things our super senior engineers did recently, and I was like, I'm gonna go play around with that. That just seems cool. So yeah. So I mean, check out the Seth Fargo. Yeah, Seth Fargo. I hear the name. For end variables. You know what I have been wanting to play with, maybe tomorrow night, is that auto hot reloading thing called Air. I don't know if you guys have ever heard that. But this come on, really? Was that an autocorrect? Like a typo correct? Yeah, this live reload for Go apps. It just seems cool. Yeah, so this is exactly it. He started doing the dev using Gin and like all this stuff, but really wanted the live reloading. And so it's cool because you could just install it. You can install it in a Docker container, or you can install it locally. And yeah, it just hot reloads this code. So anytime you save the file, your API is just ready. Yeah, so the Docker image for it. So on the next stream, I definitely want to check that out. Okay, so sorry, you're saying Seth Fargo, Go. Does this guy do Scala work? Scala? I feel like I've seen him do Scala stuff before. Oh yeah, see, this is nice. The type safety of it. Yeah, so that's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Env port. I like that a lot. I think because you can do that, you can like write it to an environment if you wanted to. Yeah, process. Wow. Oh, great post. Thanks for letting me know about this. I'm gonna check this out too. Yeah. I like it. But yeah, check out Zed. I think I've been having fun with it. I haven't been like too worried about it. I think they just did like global project search. I haven't even used it yet, so anyway. Yeah. Alrighty then. Well, I think that's it for this stream. Tomorrow night, gonna be playing around with Air and then some of that environment variable. So thanks for tuning in and for watching. So appreciate it so much.